my state of New York are upset for a lot of reasons. First of all, this war is costing so much money. Over $25 billion already, estimates $1 billion a day, and they're feeling it every single day at the gas pump with higher prices for both fuel, for diesel, for gasoline for their cars. They're also feeling it with higher grocery costs, and they're exhausted. They are truly exhausted. On top of that, they have so many grave concerns about how this war is being prosecuted. They read in the paper that 22 schools have been hit. They read in the paper about a girls' school, hundreds getting killed. We have a debate going on in this country about AI, a serious debate about AI. And I haven't heard yet from you that you will not allow AI to make final targeting determinations, even when nuclear weapons are being used. That's a huge issue that we need to discuss. So I want to start from the top, Secretary Hegseth. Why do you continue to prosecute a war that the American people aren't behind?
First of all, I appreciate the opportunity.
The American people don't support this war, and they're feeling the cost every single day. Billions spent, rising gas prices, higher grocery bills, and no clear evidence that this makes them safer. They're exhausted, and they're asking why this war was never fully brought to Congress. At the same time, serious concerns are growing: civilian casualties, schools and hospitals hit, and the dangerous question of whether AI could play a role in targeting decisions even involving nuclear weapons. The response? The administration argues this fight is necessary to stop Iran's long-standing threats and prevent a nuclear-armed regime. They say Americans support decisive action and that this mission is focused, unlike past wars. But critics aren't convinced. They see no imminent threat, no clear safety gains, and fear the risk of escalation hitting U.S. soil. They question the strategy, the human cost, and the growing price tag. And when asked about civilian harm and cutting oversight meant to prevent it, the answer remains the same: the U.S. military claims it does more than anyone to protect innocent lives. The real question still hangs in the air: at what cost and for how long?
Listen, our adversaries use rhetoric all the time. What I'm concerned about is we are not safer, and I would just like to know why you have not sought the support of the American people, and 3 out of 5 Americans are against this war today.
I believe we do have the support of the American people, and we have briefed regularly what this mission looks like and why it's critically important that we undertake it. And I would remind you and this group that we're 2 months in to an effort. And many congressional Democrats, as I pointed out, want to declare defeat 2 months in. Iraq took how many years? Afghanistan took how many years? And they were nebulous missions that people went along with. This is different. This is a defined mission set that we have had great success in pursuing against a determined enemy who seeks nuclear weapons. And I'm proud of the opportunity to remind the American people, because they believe in it as well, that they can't have it.
You don't care whether
the American people support this war. The American people are quite smart. They understand and see through spin. They know that a regime that says death to America, that seeks nuclear weapons and the ability to deliver. Did they lie about the range of their missiles?
How much more?
Because I saw a 4,000
How much
kilometer
more will you ask the American people to pay for this war? Right now, do you want it $1 billion a day? Do you want it $2 billion a day? You're asking for $200 billion more to fund this war and to make sure we have.
We didn't ask for $200 billion. I don't know where you got that number from, Senator. I think you got it from the news, which you should be careful what you read in the news.
Okay, Mr. Hegseth, Secretary Hegseth, here's a few more. Let's talk about how you're prosecuting the war. What is your response to targeting that has resulted in the destruction of schools, hospitals, civilian places? Why did you cut by 90% the division that's supposed to help you not target civilians? And do you know the impact of a strategic failure at a war when you have so many civilian casualties? You may have tactically completed a mission well, but strategically is not meeting your goals because of the harms to civilians. What is the cost of that?
Let's leave time for an answer.
No military, no country works harder at every echelon to ensure they protect civilian lives than the United States military. And that is an ironclad commitment that we make, no matter what systems we use.
Then why did you cut the department by 90%?
So I just want you to help me understand this.
In February, on the eve of Operation Epic Fury, you publicly designated Anthropic as a supply chain risk. However, this week it's been reported that the White House is now helping agencies get around this decision to access Anthropic's technology. So the administration cannot credibly make both claims simultaneously. So before I ask you about the inconsistency, I just want you to reconfirm what it is you plan to use this technology for. It's been publicly reported that the decision to label Anthropic.
You labeled Anthropic a national security risk, yet now the administration is working around that decision to use its technology. That contradiction raises a bigger issue. What exactly is this AI being used for? The concern is simple and serious. Will AI ever make lethal decisions on its own? After repeated questioning, the answer given was this: the U.S. follows the law, and under DoD policy, human judgment must remain in control of any use of force. Pressed for clarity, the bottom line finally came out: AI will not make kill decisions. A human will always be in the loop. And that's the assurance the public is demanding, because anything less would cross a dangerous line.
An ideological lunatic who shouldn't have
But that's not my
sole
question. My question is AI writ
decision-making over
large.
what we do.
Writ large.
We follow the law,
Should
Senator.
AI, will you confirm, you said this to Senator Rounds earlier, so I'm just asking for you to
We
recommit.
follow the law, but we don't have to sign a different terms of agreement with
That's not,
with
this
Anthropic.
is not the question. This is not about Anthropic. This is just an example. I want you to confirm that whether or not there will always be a human in the loop when AI is used in a kill chain for lethal targeting decisions. Will there always be a human in a loop, or will AI make the decision? You said this to... What?
We follow the law and humans make decisions.
So you will confirm what you said to Senator Rounds, that a human will always be in the loop when AI is used.
Which is why
that's
that's part of our terms of service anyway.
You know,
It's how we operate.
all I want to say is this. There is a DoD directive, 3000.09, which mandates that autonomous and semi-autonomous weapon systems be designed to allow commanders and operators to exercise appropriate levels of human judgment over use of force. That is in the DoD
That's why we follow the law, Senator.
So the answer is yes, Mr. Secretary.
The answer is we follow the law. Absolutely.
I think this is more important than following the law.
On ending the war, traders suddenly bet $500 million on the price of oil, which, once Trump made his announcement, immediately dropped. It happened again on April 7th, and then again on April 21st, a surge in oil bets, then a Trump post, and then a huge shift in oil prices in just the space of minutes. It looks like insiders have been making out like bandits, using secret information about the war. Now, one U.S. soldier has been charged, but that was for betting on capturing Maduro months ago. Not a single person has been charged in the many, many, many trades over the Middle East war. So, Secretary Hegseth, do you have any explanation for these perfectly timed spikes in trading activity other than insider trading?
Senator, all I can tell you is that everything we've done in our department, everything we've done with information, in working with the White House and across the interagency has been completely above board.
Well, so what does it mean? Do you have any other explanation other than insider trading? Do you have a story for why just minutes before there's an announcement, there's a surge in trading activity?
Senator, I'm more than focused on doing my job and ensuring we execute properly, which thankfully, under this administration, our troops have done incredible things in all these missions. My job in all of those moments is to make sure we're prepared. And that's part of the reason why we've been so successful in these raids, in these efforts, is that this joint force is prepared.
You're saying you're not paying any attention.
Massive oil trades, hundreds of millions of dollars, placed just minutes before major announcements, then prices swing instantly. It happened again and again. To many, it looks like insiders cashing in on war. When pressed, the response was simple: everything is above board, and the focus is on military operations, not the markets. But that answer didn't land. Because the real concern isn't trading, it's whether sensitive information is leaking from inside. Then came another allegation, possible financial gain tied to defense investments. The response? Flat denial, completely false, never happened, not about money. Still, the law is clear, strict limits on defense-related investments, and full transparency is required. So the exchange ends where the doubt begins, perfectly timed trades. No clear explanation. And serious questions still unanswered.
That is a no.
Properly
All
safeguarded.
right. Well, obviously you're not. I'm also concerned about recent reporting on your own financial dealings with regard to profiting from the war in Iran. The Financial Times reported that your broker tried to buy hundreds of shares in a BlackRock fund invested in defense companies just before the war began. The law clearly prohibits the Secretary of
That entire story is false, has been from the
Let me
beginning,
finish
and
my
was made up out of whole cloth. And anybody that looks at it sees how it
law-
was worded from the beginning to make it look like I was involved in something I had nothing to do and never have. So any
law-
insinuation that I've ever profited, other than serving this nation, what I give, what you give, what others give, I'm not looking for money. I don't do it for money. I don't do it for profit. I don't do it for stocks. And that's part of the reason why I'm able to be effective in this job. Because
Then
no
let
one
me
owns me.
ask my
No one owns
question,
this department. No one
Secretary
owns this
Hegseth.
president. And we
Let
can
me
execute
ask
for the
my
American people,
question.
and we
The
do.
law clearly prohibits the Secretary of Defense from owning stock in the 10 biggest defense contractors. Other senators and I sent you a letter with detailed questions about this, and you have not given us a response. So I'd like to hear you say, did you, through your broker at Morgan Stanley or otherwise, seek to invest in any defense-related funds right before Trump started the Iran war?
I'll give it to you as a big, fat negative.
Then let me ask you a second question. Is your broker getting your personal sign-off on any investment in individual stocks?
Bigger, fatter, negative.
He's not getting your sign-off before he makes investments in defense stocks? Can I refer you to your
I'm not
ethics
making investments,
agreement?
Senator.
I am asking, does he know that he has to get your sign-off before he does that?
Of course.
The
I
time
don't know what
of
you're
the
looking for, but you ain't
senator
gonna
has
find it.
expired. Thank you. Thank you, Senator.
I would like to enter into the record the ethics agreement that the Secretary of Defense has signed, that he will sign off